Ryan Day's in a very interesting position during the offseason. Normally, this time of year, the position battles are mainly decided. That's not the case right now. There is still an unresolved battle going on for starting quarterback, starting left tackle, so on and so forth. That's why the coach need to be very strategic in what they do to make sure they decide the right player is starting for the Buckeyes in the fall.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Buckeye fans? Welcome back to another episode of Locked On Buckeyes for the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast. It is Wednesday, May 24th in the year 2023, and this episode is brought to you by Birddogs. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnCollege, and when you enter promo code LockedOnCollege, they'll throw in a free custom Birddogs Yeti-style tumbler with every order. During today's episode, we will go over who has the upper hand and who should have the upper hand in the unresolved position battles for Ohio State right now. And we'll discuss the emphasis and the focus for the next EA Sports NCAA football game. But first, imagine being Ryan Day right now. You're going into a very pivotal year for the football team and specifically his career. Now, I'm not here to say Ryan Day is on the hot seat or it's a make or break year for Ryan Day. However, back-to-back losses to Michigan, back-to-back years where you're not winning the conference, that's going to make things really tough for you going into year number 5 as the head football coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes. And take that into account and then also factor in Ryan Day is going through a quarterback competition as well as trying to figure out who's going to be the starting running back. Now, we know who the top two guys are. Who's the starter? Is Julian Fleming secure going to be the third wide receiver, or is Jaden Ballard going to step up? Who is going to be your starting center? Who is going to be your starting right tackle? On defense, nickel, safety, who's going to be that guy? There are unresolved position battles all across the board, and Ryan Day and the other coaches need to be very strategic in how they maneuver themselves and the decisions they make right now, because if they're not, ultimately, things could go really bad, and this could be an unfortunate football season for your Ohio State Buckeyes. And yours truly does not want to come on here and discuss some things happening that were unfortunate, and we could look back in the summer and say, oh, that was weird. That was odd. That didn't make sense. What's going on there? And we can come back and look at numerous ways and decisions that were made in the offseason in May and June and July that impacted the Buckeyes in the fall. Now, I think Ryan Day has the right people around him. You have guys that are seasoned, guys that have a lot of experience in the NFL, so they're able to bring their NFL expertise to Columbus to help Ryan Day coach the football team. I like that aspect of what Ryan Day has done with some of the additions that he's added to the defensive back coaching room. Also, you bring in a seasoned vet in Jim Knowles. What does Jim Knowles do in year number 2? Well, I hope he makes a defense, and he can't make it, helps the defense be a better, well-oiled machine, or really just make it a well-oiled machine, because it wasn't like that last year, wasn't like that the year before. Let's just make it a well-oiled machine. Let's just have everything hitting on all cylinders consistently at every position. That'll be perfectly fine. Also, when it comes to on the offensive side, you got Tony Alford, proven track record. You got Justin Fry, proven track record. You got Brian Hartline, proven track record as receivers coach. OC potentially being a play caller for the Buckeyes. You see why the moves that are made right now impact the unresolved position battles on the team. And I think Ryan Day is going to be fine. I do. I think Ryan Day is going to make the right decisions as far as personnel, who's going to start. Because I don't think he's going to do the same thing that happened last year. And I truly don't think Larry Johnson is going to do the same thing that happened last year, where some of the best guys on the D-line were not playing all the time. And ultimately, it's clear the guys who weren't playing were better than the guys that played. I'm going to leave that there. and keep going on. When I'm here with thinking about this quarterback and right tackle and left tackle and center and corner and nickel safety and even kicker, and I can even add in running back and wide receiver 3, I think if you just let the coaches do what they do best, things will be fine. Because I don't think anybody here, I know I don't, have a disapproval of Jim Knowles coaching linebackers, Larry Johnson coaching defensive linemen. Now, they can tweak some things, but I think they are really good at their jobs. Pierre Eliano, Tim Walton do a phenomenal job. What else is there? Parker Fleming with the special teams doing a phenomenal job. Now, Coach Key, coaching tight ends, I keep seeing Ohio State media and the players hyping him up. I don't know how big of an impact he had on Cade Stover or Jeremy Ruckert over the past couple years, so I don't know about all of that. So that's one that for me, maybe not you, but for me, it's literally TBD, to be determined, because I got to see how he impacts what he does with those guys that are playing tight end for the Buckeyes in the fall. Running back, receiver, I'm cool with the position coaches. Just let them do their job. Let them develop guys in the way that they need to develop guys. Let them make the guys grind. Let them force the players to compete. Then also, Ryan Day, allow you to be a better overseer, to have a better oversight of the team, and encourage the competition that needs to happen during practice to decide if someone's going to start or someone's going to be a backup in this upcoming season. Maybe not ride the pine or ride the bench. Like, if you're in one of these battles, unless you're an O-lineman, you're probably going to play at some point during the season. Now, if you're starting quarterback, generally the backup is not going to play, maybe in mop-up duty. So there are times if you don't start, you're going to play. There are times if you do start, if you do start, you're great. But the guy that was in battle with you might not be playing, just the way the cookie crumbles. Be very strategic. Strategize this thing. I mean, you've had since January, really until the middle of the season. I guarantee there's somebody in the season preparing for right now saying, okay, forecasting who's going to be gone. I know in locker rooms and things like that, they know who might be leaving because of the way the conversations go inside the locker room. And think back a couple years to Sevyn Banks. They even said at the end of the season, during the season, Sevyn Banks told people he was going to the NFL draft, which is why in January of that year, he did not have a scholarship, which is why you better be careful what you let out, because sometimes what you let out will come back to bite you. Ryan Day and the other coaches need to be very strategic in the moves and decisions they make right now in regards to how they'll resolve the unresolved position battles right now. Because if they don't have a strategy, if they're not strategic, buddy, things could be bad. We could be having some very serious conversations here in the fall about what we're witnessing for the Buckeyes every Saturday afternoon. Speaking of Saturday afternoon, some of these position battles, some players have an upper hand in, some are still battles to this day. Where do things lie with the position battles going on with the Ohio State Buckeyes? We'll discuss it next on Locked On Buckeyes. This episode is brought to you by Birddogs. It's the time of year we're all looking to find ways and clothes to revamp our wardrobe. Things that are comfortable, things that might be stretchy, and Birddogs provides that for me, and it definitely provides that for you as well. Their stretchy fabric makes my legs look great, and they're comfier than my other shorts and pants. They give me the freedom to wear one pair of pants or shorts on the golf course to a meeting, a date, or hanging out with friends. And Dave Portnoy does pizza reviews wearing Birddogs and talks about how he hates the pizza, but his legs look great in Birddogs. So go to birddogs.com/LockedOnCollege. And when you enter promo code LockedOnCollege, they'll throw in a free custom Birddogs Yeti-style tumbler with every order. Once again, go to birddogs.com/LockedOnCollege. And when you enter promo code LockedOnCollege, they'll throw in a free custom Birddogs Yeti-style tumbler with every order. Thanks for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen every single day. Make sure you check out and subscribe to Locked On Buckeyes on YouTube. There will be YouTube shorts coming out on a regular, consistent basis. Trying to get a few of them uploaded and posted. Definitely so there are things coming at you 7 days a week. Shows 5 days a week, and then a Saturday and a Sunday. A YouTube Shorts coming your way. Exclusively only will be found on the YouTube. So subscribe to Locked on Buckeyes on YouTube. Hit that bell so you're notified every time a new video goes live. Locked on Buckeyes is a part of the Locked on Podcast Network. Your team every day. Unresolved position battles are things that every coach has to deal with during the offseason. It's something that comes with the territory. It comes with the job description. If somebody leaves or when somebody leaves, you got to fill the hole, and you got to make sure you put the right guy in that hole, because if not, you could be out of a job. It's just the way things work. Called a cruel world? I don't think so. You're the head coach of a football team. No matter if it's at the high school level, a little bit more leniency there at that level of the football. But if you're in college, no matter the level, or if you're in the semi-pro or professional ranks, NFL, USFL, XFL, it does not matter. You better put the right guys in the right position, because if not, buddy, you could be up out of a job, which is why when it comes to Ryan Day specifically, and I got numerous position battles. I even saw a website, not saying names, but they had a few on offense. They had a few on offense, more on offense than on defense. And I was like, okay, cool. That's a great starting point. Jot some notes down while I'm reading something. Then I realized, wait, there are more position battles that are currently going on than what we saw in that article. And I started putting my own things down here on this paper. On offense, quarterback is clear. Kyle McCord, Devin Brown, still battling to be QB1 for the Buckeyes. Right tackle, left tackle, still unresolved. Running back, I don't know who's going to start between Maya Williams and Travion Henderson. I know who I think should start. I know who I think has the better is a better player for the offense, but I have no idea what a healthy Travion Henderson in year 3. Let's say he works with his vision and his balance and staying to the tackle instead of trying to bounce things outside. Let's say he works on all of those things. Maybe he's the best back with the offense. It's literally TBD, to be determined. Wide receiver 3, I've been hearing a lot of hype about Jaden Ballard over the offseason. I thought for sure Julian Fleming was going to be the guy. Wide receiver 3. Is there a battle going on there? On defense and starting D tackle, you just brought in Tywone Malone. Wow. Let's get the first thing correct, Jay. Is he going to have a chance to start for the Buckeyes? I don't think so right now. I think he's a depth piece. I don't think he's going to start. But that's still something that you have to kind of realize. Is he going to be a 1 technique or 3 technique? Where is he going to be? Also, on defense, corner, unresolved. Denzel Burke, 1 starting corner. Who started on the opposite side? Nickel corner, nickel safety. Cam Martinez, Jahad Carter. Who's going to start? I know who I think has the upper hand now. We'll discuss that here in a second. And then even that kicker. You got a walk-on kicker in Jaden Fleming, who missed a 40-yarder in the spring game. You have a USC transfer in Parker Lewis, who made a 38-yarder. Neither one has played a regular season or even a postseason game for the Ohio State Buckeyes. That's a lot. Now, you're used to the Buckeyes losing players in the offseason to the draft. You lost some to the portal. But, man, I wasn't thinking to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I could even add in 10 if you want to add in D tackle, which I don't really put that there, but that's a lot. Now, when it comes to who has the upper hand in these battles, I still think Kyle McCord has the upper hand. One of the reasons is because of the injury that Devin Brown suffered during spring practice. Now, I think Brown will be healthy coming up soon. If not at the beginning of June, mid-June should be back out there working out and hopefully throwing at that time. But I think McCord has the upper hand, especially for that reason. Now, McCord has more time with Ryan Day, more time with Brian Hartline, has a better grasp of the offense, knows what the coaches want, has seen Day and Hartline in crucial moments in games and seen how they respond, has seen Corey Dennis respond and react to C.J. Stroud. I had to think about the quarterback's name for some reason. C.J. Stroud, and see how Stroud reacts and responds in those moments. And so you have to see, what do you think? Does a player work with the coach? I think Brown and McCord will work with Corey Dennis. Do they work with Hartline? Do they work with Ryan Day? These are all things that sometimes you don't know until game time. You literally don't know how a player is going to respond in a game in practice, because a practice is not the game. It's a wild concept, isn't it? but I think McCord has the upper hand there. And the right tackle, left tackle spot, I may be a little weird with this one. I think Joshua Simmons and Josh Fryer have the upper hand. I don't think Simmons will transfer to the Ohio State Buckeyes if he was not expected to start in the fall. I think Fryer's probably better suited at right tackle, Joshua Simmons at left tackle, but I still think those could be flip-flopped depending on how the coaches view those players in those roles, and you're going to be fine. You still got Tego Tishabola, Zim Mahalski battling at right tackle with Fryer and Simmons, but I think left tackle solely Fryer and Simmons alone. I've heard Donovan Jackson possibly bumping out to left tackle. I don't think it's going to happen. I think you have the guys that you need in this position room in this position. Let them rock. At center, I think Carson Hinzman still has the upper hand. Jacob James had an injury. Vic Cutler is a transfer. I don't think he's up to speed as of yet with what's going on with the Ohio State Buckeyes right now and what they want from that center position. Still, Carson Hinzman, like the other guys, McCord, Brown, Simmons, Fryer, and the others, literally work in progress. Fryer has some experience with the Buckeyes, with a couple O-line coaches, with Ryan Day, so he has experience there, but everyone's a work in progress. You don't have many starting games started by many of these guys at the Power 5 level. Simmons at a G5 level, going up to the big boys, not just in the Big Ten, but at Ohio State, it's a different ball game. You got corner. Now, this one's weird because I've been saying Igbenogsen's going to start. I think Igbenogsen's going to make his name bigger and more known in training camp, in fall camp. I think Hancock has the upper hand right now because of his longevity with the program. That does not mean I don't think he's going to play in the fall. I think the loser of this battle is going to end up playing quite a bit in the backup role. But I think Igbenogsen will start. I think Hancock currently has the upper hand as things stand on May the 24th. When it comes to nickel corner, same thing. Cam Martinez has the upper hand. Depending on how Jahad Carter recovers from his injury that he suffered during spring practice, that could propel him to start in the fall. Because I think he came here to start. But if his injury sets him back, Cam Martinez can start in the fall. And I know some people think about Cam Martinez starting at nickel safety, but it could happen. As regards to kickers, I ain't going to sit up here and act like I know anything about kicking or special teams except for did you make it, did you miss it? That's all I know. I also understand one guy's a walk-on, one guy's a USC transfer. Hey, I'm not going to try to analyze kickers. That's not my jam. It might be yours. More power to you. But it ain't my jam. All I'll say is maybe the more accurate kicker play. Enough said. Is that good analysis for you? It's about as good as you're going to get from Jay Stevens on the kicking game. But that's a lot, man. I don't remember an offseason since I've been here hosting this podcast that we've had this much going on in the offseason as far as unresolved things this time of year. It's not normal, but there's enough talent here. There's a lot of talent here. The talent develops throughout the season. 2023 could be special. Very, very special for your Ohio State Buckeyes. 2024 will be a very special year for video game lovers like myself, those people that love EA Sports NCAA Football 14. I still play it religiously. There's a new updated game coming out in 2024. What's the focus of the people that are developing the game? We'll discuss it next on Locked On Buckeyes. Thanks for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen every single day. Make sure if you missed it, you check out our recruiting update yesterday with our guy, Brian Smith. Brian is Locked On's recruiting analyst. Brian and I went over what he witnessed from Elias Rudolph, a defensive end that the Buckeyes are strongly going after. Brian watched Rudolph play in a jamboree over the weekend, and he said he got the attention of coaches all over the field. Also touched on another young man, Mr. Mayo, ended up announcing his Darian Mayo. He announced his top 6. The Buckeyes were in that exclusive group. Also discussed what he brings to the table and that why Larry Johnson would love to have him in Ohio State's D-line room. I love this game. Not just college football. Like, I don't want to sugarcoat that and say, well, I love this more than that. No, I love this game. college football. I love that game. EA Sports NCAA Football. I love that game too. I literally played the game. NCAA Football 14, the latest edition of this franchise that was released. Played it earlier today. Wanted to get it out, and I have a dynasty mode game going on with Tulane. Back when they were playing in the Superdome down there in New Orleans, and I'm the OC, the offensive coordinator. I've had opportunities to go because I've been doing pretty well with this team so far, and I've had opportunities to go and be a head coach elsewhere. I said, no, I don't want to do the normal head coach route. I want to be the OC or the DC. Let that thing rock. Let that thing go. Develop these players, Heisman winners, get them drafted, so on and so forth, and make my stamp as the OC of the Tulane Green Wave. In the dynasty mode is literally the emphasis of the developers of the revamped and newly made NCAA football video game in the franchise. And I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. One of the things that we love about NCAA football is dynasty mode, how you can become the coach. Maybe you want to be the head coach or the OC or the DC, and you want to go with a smaller school to develop them and to make a name for yourself as the coach of this school that is a winning conference year after year after year and putting guys into the NFL year after year after year. And I think it's wise for the developers to end up making this an emphasis and a focus, because I think that's one way this game made a name for itself. You emphasize dynasty mode. You emphasize the recruiting, knowing, hey, I got this 2-star here. I got this 4-star here, and I'm a small school in Akron or in Ball State or whatever the school is. I'm a smaller school. Can I get that guy? Yes, you can get him. And you get him, man, it's a badge of honor. You're over there chomping at the bit. You're over there, hey, yeah, let's go. Let's go. You like that stuff. It's a wise decision by the developers and the developers of the game to make this a thing. It's a very good step in the right direction. Also in this game, I haven't really done much talking about this over the past few months, but the players will be in the game, not just players and numbers and body and accessories and those things. No, the players you will literally see McCord's name on the back of his jersey, and Twin Malowau and Henderson. Well, if they're in the game at that time, coming out next summer, they might not be playing for the Buckeyes in the fall of 2024. But Devin Brown, let's go a little bit. Caden Curry, let's go a little bit. Kenyatta Jackson Jr., Evan Pryor, Dallin Hayden. You get Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis. You're going to be able to see these guys' names on the back of their jersey, and it's going to be more personal for you as you play the game, but also for the players as well. The game was halted because the game was using basically the image and likeness of the players, without giving them credit. Their name was on the jersey, and they were not getting paid. All that has changed with the NIL that is now in place, and I cannot wait for this game to come out. Got to get a new system. I believe it's only going to be available on the newest Xbox system and PS5. I cannot wait, man. Been waiting a long 10 years, man. What's this, 10 years? Been waiting a long time for this game to come back out. And, hey, I'm here for it. I'm here for it because you know what? We're going to talk more about this game over the next year and a half. Also going to talk more about this game once it comes out as well. Might do some segments as I start and play with the Ohio State Buckeyes, discussing, hey, here's how this guy plays in the game. Here's how that guy plays in the game. We're out here on a Wednesday. You can follow me on Twitter at jstevens07. You can send all of your emails to jstevens317 at gmail.com. Thanks for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen every single day. Now is a good time to go check out Locked On Sports Today. It's the podcast, the best podcast for you to get all the information and updated info on things going on all around the wide world of sports daily and in under 20 minutes. Locked On Buckeyes and Locked On Sports Today, they're both a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. For Locked On Buckeyes here on a Wednesday, I am your host, Jay Stevens. I'll see you next time.